All right, nah, how y'all doing? I definitely had to make sure I did a recording this. What we seeing happening right now is the quarter zip movement. A lot of people may not even know what it is, so I had to actually buy my quarter zip for this video in itself. But we seeing these young men, young black men for sure, starting to put on quarter zips, and when they make these videos, you will see a change also in their mannerism. So they put on the quarter zips, and they say we don't wear Nike Techs no more. We wear quarter zips and drink matchas, right? And I wanted to get my perspective, right? The first thing is that I actually believe that this is a good movement, something that I applaud. But before I even get into that, I'm gonna actually show this video for y'all to see it as well. Me, to give y'all some insight. Then I'm gonna explain my stance on it. All right, this is it right here. Wait, let's go there, go here, add that to the stage so y'all can see that. Probably put me like that. Hey, hey. Nah, maybe I go low. I go low. Put me low. Let's go.
We don't do Nike Tech. We don't do coffee. There's straight quarter zips and matches around here.
We don't do Nike Techs. We don't do coffee. We drink matchas and wear quarter zips, gang. We don't do those type of stuff no more. And I go now and I read books, bro. And I go to the library. I don't do those activities no more.
All right, so let me give you my perspective. I actually like it. I know some people that's like, well, there should be no difference in your attire to even start dressing up with quarter zips, make it seem as though it's the clothing that makes the man. Some people attaching professional with this idea of wanting to be white and all those other things. But let me give you my perspective. First thing is I believe it's a good movement. I support it. The reason why is because I understand that there are times where you first have to dress the body before you dress the mind. And what do I mean by that? Even for myself, like I'm somebody that's known. I went to uniform school. They stopped even giving me the award for a uniform because in our school they would award those who wore the uniform the most, and I would always get the award. They stopped giving it to me. And I do understand the idea of like professionalism and knowing how under a system of white supremacy that in many ways parts of our culture as African people or African Americans and black people that parts of our culture and forms of expression, whether that was our hair, beard, natural features that just came with being black were we were told that we couldn't look a certain way in order because it wasn't professional. So I do understand that lens. But why I say I support the movement is because what I'm seeing is that young men are changing from these Nike Techs and pulling the quarters, even if for the sake of like the parody in the video. But when they change, they also change their mannerisms, right? And you start seeing them like, nah, man, we don't slide and drive on each other. We don't shoot at each other more. We don't be fighting. I wear quarter zips now, right? And the reason why I'm saying that, when I said the earlier point that sometimes you have to dress the body before you dress the mind. What I do understand is that when you can get a young man to feel better about himself, and sometimes that is through clothing, not just says through quarter zips, but getting new attire. And there's times where I may have a sweatsuit, but when I'm wearing my sweatsuit and I put on my suit, I'm not gonna lie, I feel two different ways depending on the suit. Does it change who I am? No, but the attire in itself does make you feel a certain way, and that's the reality. So I believe that the first thing I say about the movie is that it's showing how young men are becoming conscious of the power of perception, right? And what do I mean by that? The honest truth is that before someone hears you speak, they judge you based on how it is that they perceive, based on how it is that you carry yourself. Well, that's the clothes that you have on, your hat. How is it that you look? Your presentation. That's reality. So when young men start to understand that, not that we can't wear Nike Techs, but that we can also put on quarter zips, and based on the space that I'm in, it ought to be an attire that is deemed appropriate for that space. I applaud that. I applaud that. Because I understand how sometimes just being in different attire make you feel different about yourself. I feel different when I'm in a suit than when I'm in a Nike Tech. Does it change my intellect? No, but I do feel different. That's the reality. And people cannot tell me that they don't feel different depending on their clothing. This times you're having your sweatsuit, and then when you dressing up for that party, you put on your woman, y'all put on your dress, get your hair done, y'all feel different. The young men put on their outfits, their sneakers, their shoes, you feel different. So we understand how clothing also impact what is my second point, your self-esteem. So another reason why I support the movie is because we're seeing young men start to have an increase in their self-esteem, how it is that they feel about themselves when they change their attire. And I'm not against that. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I think that if the young men are not wearing quarter zips, that they are not professional, that they are YNs. I mean, I don't agree with the term YN. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that we should be calling our young men YNs. I think that's a little ignorant. So I always feel like our young men was kings, but now I'm seeing them start to acknowledge that they have the ability to carry themselves in a different manner. And what's sad to say is the reality that even let's go back to media. I say the power of media is that it not only impacts how other people see us, but how it is that we come to see ourselves. And now that we're seeing young men starting to see themselves in a different light, no matter what you wear, I'm all for it. I'm for it. It took the courtesies for them to start to reawaken a collective conscious. I'm for that. And the reason why I'm saying I'm for it, because I don't understand how people could speak out against. I hear some people saying it's not the courtesies that make a man a threat to America, because it was like a joke going on TikTok saying the CIA right now is in shambles, saying like they can't detect who's who because we all are dressing in a certain manner. I liked it. It was funny. But when I'm also saying some people's like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was killed in suits, it's not the attire that makes you a threat. I say, yeah, we understand that. But what I do say that there is steps. The first thing I like to do when I'm mentoring young black men is first to get them a black suit. When they able to get them a suit, they feel a little bit different about themselves in the attire. I remember one of my friends, Cedric, he was like, "Yo, I don't be wearing suits, or you always wearing suits." I said, "All right, so let's wear one to an event one time." We wore a suit to an event. I was like, "How you feel?" He said, "I ain't gonna lie, I feel good." And that's the reality. We make so things so much deeper. And of course, I got to make that point to encourage my young men to understand that what makes us a threat to America as black men is not being a well-dressed black man, but being one that is a critical thinker. So as a well-educated black man, not a well-dressed one, that's a threat to America. And I agree. But what I'm saying is there are steps that we got to get our young men to go through prior to. And if it took us first to get them in the quarters to them being open to saying, yo, we ain't gonna just be scrolling on our phones, we're gonna start learning how to read. I'm for that. So I'm all for the movement. I just want to make sure I got that mess off my chest. I see a lot of people trying to condemn the movement, saying it's so silly. Nike text don't make you a man. Nah, that's true. But how you carry yourself matter. How you carry yourself not only impacts how people see you, but how it is that you feel about yourself and how you see yourself, which is evident in the videos that's being made. Because these young men change from the Nike text or corsets, they change their mannerism, their decorum, and how it is that they carry yourself, which means that they too attach a certain way in which you should carry yourself based on your clothing. They believe that you shouldn't carry yourself how you would in a sweatsuit, how you should in a suit. That's reality. It's some things you can't even do in a suit that you could do in a sweatsuit. Reality. So I'm all for it. I just want to encourage the young men that are doing to continue, but let's take it a step further. Let's start reading. Let's start going to the library. But I applaud y'all for understanding the power of attire, for knowing that you can do both. Because I'm not saying you can't wear a sweatsuit or a Nike Tech, but I'm saying that it's good to know how to do more than one thing. Know that how you carry yourself matters. And then on the flip side, I could put it this way: if you was going to do a crime, walking in there with a Nike Tech and a ski mask ain't the best way to go about doing a crime. You might get away stealing with your suit on because you just look less suspicious. Real life. We got to be honest, y'all. I didn't like this ski mask look. I didn't like that. Because how I was conditioned when I seen a man with somebody with a ski mask, no matter what your race is, you up to no good. That's reality. So to see y'all starting to, embrace the idea that you would carry yourself in different manners, I'm all for it. And I bought my quarter zip for that purpose. So let's continue to build, let's continue to push this movement, let's continue to educate and encourage our young men. And then I want to say for those that's also trying to denounce the movement, I want y'all to use your platform to denounce the other things that's going on. Why not denounce the drill rapping? Why not denounce the young woman that's entertainers and rappers that's encouraging our young women to get on tables and shake their behind, to be promiscuous, to show off their cleavage? Why don't see y'all use your platform to denounce that? That don't make no sense. We got award ceremonies, NAACP image awards, where we awarding people that's not portraying the best image of us as black people. Why we don't talk against the drill rappers? Let's slide and kill each other. I don't see how use your platform to condemn the funding of music that's detrimental to our community because it's encouraging a form of act of violence against each other. But yet we are sitting here and we are speak out against young men putting on quarter zips. But I see even politicians go part to the same music that's influencing our youth to act in a certain manner, but then trying to condemn the violence. How you speak out against the violence, but don't speak out to what it is that encourage us to be violent. Use your platform to speak out against that. That's what I want to see us do. We speak out against courtesy. No, speak out against all the negative influence that's going on through media. Because if I want to be able to show us in a different, I want to show us as scholars. I want to show us as young men that also can dress in multiple facets. Show us that way so that the only thing our young black men don't have to look up to is not just the negative influences. Let's speak out against that. Use your platform for that, not to speak out against quarter zips. Let's grow up. But I just want to make sure I got the message on my chest and let the young men I know that are following this movement to continue to do your thing. Let's start reading. Let's start attending classes. Let's start carrying ourselves as uplifting young black men, knowing that we can be much more than just what the world has conditioned us to feel as if we can be, and know that we much more than what media portrays us to be. This Jordan's the media platform. We have this conversation. Like, share, subscribe to this page. We here. I love y'all. I hope y'all love this conversation. Comment, like, share. I love to reply to comments. I love to get in respectable debates. I like your lens and my lens. I know that we all come different perspectives based on how it is that we grew up, but I'm always willing to learn. I'm open to growing. Sometimes comments help me to shift my perspective, but I'm also willing to provide the evidence or the reasoning to why I have my stance and my beliefs. So let's get into it. I love y'all.